As of October 2025, nearly two-thirds of Russia's entire active-duty military, about 700,000 troops, are tied up in the war in Ukraine. That's the largest single overseas deployment in modern Russian history, leaving the homeland stretched thin and the military facing major strains. According to the Military Balance 2025, Russia's total active-duty force now numbers around 1.13 million personnel. That includes roughly 550,000 in ground forces, 170,000 in the aerospace forces, and 119,000 in the Navy. This growth follows years of mobilization and recruitment campaigns that began after the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine's military intelligence and Western defense assessments estimate that around 680,000 to 700,000 Russian troops are currently operating in or around Ukraine, including those in Belarus and staging zones just across the border. That means about 62% of Russia's total active-duty force is committed to the Ukrainian front. If paramilitary units like Rosgvardia and Wagner remnants are included, the share may climb even higher, close to two-thirds of Russia's fighting manpower. Outside Ukraine, Russia maintains only modest deployments. The largest is in Belarus, where tens of thousands of troops rotate through for joint operations and exercises like Zapad 2025. Smaller contingents operate in Armenia, Tajikistan, Abkhazia, and South Ossetia, totaling fewer than 25,000 troops abroad. In short, over 95% of Russia's deployed combat forces are now focused on the Ukraine war. Back home, roughly 350,000 to 400,000 troops defend the Russian Federation itself. That includes air defense, strategic missile forces, border guards, and training units. Key components include strategic rocket forces, 50,000 personnel operating Russia's nuclear deterrent. Aerospace and air defense units, about 120,000 troops around Moscow, Kaliningrad, and the Far East. Internal and border security, up to 100,000 under the FSB and Rosgvardia. Operational reserves, about 130,000 troops in training or rotation. President Putin's 2024 decree aims to expand total active-duty forces to 1.5 million, but that buildup remains incomplete. The cost of war has been staggering. Since 2022, Russia has lost over 3,000 tanks and tens of thousands of armored vehicles and artillery systems, more than its pre-war inventory. Homeland defense units now rely heavily on refurbished Soviet-era equipment like T-62 tanks and BMP-1 vehicles. While factories are running at wartime capacity, producing roughly 1,500 tanks and 3,000 armored vehicles annually, sanctions and shortages limit quality and quantity. Even Putin admitted in April 2025 that Russia still lacks enough drones, communications gear, and precision weapons. Almost all new or repaired equipment goes straight to Ukraine, leaving homeland districts like Leningrad and the Far East with outdated systems. Strategic rocket and aerospace forces remain relatively modern, but conventional ground defense is stretched thin. Analysts say Russia could repel minor incursions but would struggle to withstand a large-scale NATO assault without withdrawing forces from Ukraine. At home, discontent is rising. Independent polls show more than 60% of Russians now favor peace talks, while support for continuing the war has dropped below 35%. Inflation, rationing, and fear of conscription have eroded public trust. Inside the Kremlin, elite frustration is growing. Oligarchs and senior officials privately describe Putin's prolonged war as economically disastrous. Even Communist Party leader Gennady Zyuganov has begun criticizing the government, something unimaginable just a few years ago. Local officials in Moscow and St. Petersburg have even called for Putin's resignation, though these moves are quickly suppressed. Despite cracks in loyalty, Putin's control remains firm. His intelligence agencies, security forces, and propaganda networks keep opposition in check. There's no organized successor class and no visible military split. Experts believe a change in leadership is unlikely in the short term. But if battlefield losses mount and the economy worsens, Putin's hold on power could weaken within the next 2 to 3 years. As of late 2025, Russia's war machine remains formidable but fragile. Two-thirds of its troops are locked in Ukraine. Its homeland defenses are aging and public patience is wearing thin. Whether Moscow can sustain this balance, war abroad and control at home, may define Russia's future far beyond the battlefield.